Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here or coming later to catch the replay. If you are new to my work, my name is Sarah. You can find me on most social media at SarahDescending. I am a depth quantum energy work practitioner, and I offer a number of energy work modalities that all have the same goal, which is guidance as you walk the path of soul sovereignty. So again, thank you for being here. Today I'm going to do two individual mini Akashic readings for a few people. And I want to talk just a little bit before I start about generational issues. And something that I've been feeling into today, what I'm going to offer to you, is that it doesn't have to be a generational curse, or rather, a curse can manifest in a multitude of ways. And what I was being shown today that I want to offer for whoever this resonates with to feel into and to think about how you can address this within your own lineages is that all that has to happen is the first generation simply has to be programmed, because we are more than a machine, but there is an aspect of us that is a biological machine, and we can be programmed. We are programmed. Many of us are breaking programming. Some of us came unable to be programmed so that we could be here for such a time as this. Anyway, what I was being shown today is that if they can, and by they, I mean the least of us, I mean whatever system benefits from this, it could be a system within, it could be part of the parasitic false overlay, it could be a prior lineage. If they can program the first generation on a cellular, genetic, and mental level, we are we're a holistic thing. It is simply passed down to each subsequent generation until somebody identifies the program and chooses to break it and free the lineage. I wanted to share that. Many of you who are watching or will watch later know that I am in Wichita, and so am feeling a little off my center related to the Black Hawk helicopter hitting the plane in DC. I'm going to taken off from Wichita, and the personal connection that my family has to, well, I guess it's not a personal connection, a business connection to aerospace. So I just wanted to take a moment and say that I am not ready to speak at length publicly about this or offer any sort of an oracular word or intuitive guidance. It's all still unfolding. And I am, as always, viewing things from a multidimensional quantum cosmic perspective, as well as a very centered and grounded one. And there is no way that what happened was okay. So if anybody's thinking that they can twist this to fit their politics, I will just straight up say that that is not the case. You cannot twist this to fit a political agenda. It is awful and grotesque, no matter which way you look at it. So other than that, I won't be taking any questions. I do think I have the chat disabled on Twitter. If you are watching on Instagram, I will not be able to take any questions during these lives. I just do this stream. Sometimes if I go live on YouTube and I have the moderator with me, we are able to allow the chat. However, frequently there were people showing up to try to participate in chat that weren't respecting you're not the person getting a session today, and trying to divert my attention from what was happening onto their question and get free energy work. And please note that the many individual Akashic sessions that I do on these live streams are not free. They are much less money than meeting with me privately for a one-on-one session is, but people are paying for them, so it's their time. It is not time for somebody to get to try to ask questions in chat. Though I do believe that my collaborators and I will be planning a time in which we will offer an upcoming date in which each person who attends that particular event, that live event, is able to ask one question that I will offer a very brief, intuitive answer to. That will be upcoming. You will want to, if you're interested in that, be following along with my social media posts. I will have an email sent out to those who sign up or who have been clients. So I have email addresses for people who have been private session clients. And that would be who would currently get an email. If you would like to be notified by email, you will need to email me that you would like to be added to the email list. So my email is readily available on all my social media. Any promotional post about my offerings has my email, because I no longer allow new clients to straight book with me. You have to email me, you have to fill out intro forms, you have to have a discovery call. So anyway, I also, before I get started on these two lives, wanted to mention that in March, probably in late March, I will be teaching a workshop that will be open for people to sign up for on my modality that I call soul guided emotional release and energy repair. I no longer offer that very often as private one-on-one work. Many people in 2023 and part of 2024 were able to access that session with me. Right now, it's only available if you book my package Send to Ascend. I will make exception for current clients, established paid clients who need a session of that. It costs the same. It is premium, same rate of quantum clearing, $4.44 an hour. Or you can come to this workshop and I will teach you to do it yourself. The workshop will be probably around $100 for 90 minutes to 2 hours. You will be asked to sign a waiver that you will be using it on yourself or for private use only, and not using my spiritual and intellectual property to turn around and offer as your own modality. But I've had a lot of requests for this from a number of people who have really felt like they've been helped by this emotional release modality. I look forward to sharing more details about that event along with a sign-up link here in the next probably like 7 to 10 days. If you follow along on my social media, there will be a promotional post made with a link where you can sign up. In order to come, you must have your camera on. And if you are unknown to me and my 2 or 3 primary energy work collaborators, we may request to meet you prior to ensure the integrity of the container. So I look forward to connecting with you for that in March. Probably tentative date for this is March 22nd. It may be sooner, it may be later. That's the tentative date. I really hope to see you there. So I'm going to set the container right now. And some of you know that sometimes I'll do just a straight Akashic, like an Akashic prayer kind of to set the container. given everything that's going on, I'm pulling out the big guns though, which you've heard me read many times. And then I'll jump right in and shift my focus into approaching the individual part of the Akash that pertains to client number one. So I'm doing this for two people today. So I decree and declare that this container is created, infused, and protected by the essence and light of Creator, Great Spirit, the holy and divine Mother, Father of the cosmos. I call in and thank with everlasting gratitude the Black Madonna, the Mary, the Mother, the Creatress, the creatress of the original light, the black light, the womb tomb magnetic light that created all other light, and Yeshua as the living embodiment of the Spirit of the Christ. We thank you for your modeling of the way, which is the compassionate and awakened heart and womb. We thank all the ancestors, both past and future, of those present today for their space holding, support, and loving guidance. However, I request that only ancestors who have come to a certain point in their soul evolution or their evolutionary path back to soul can participate, direct, or guide this journey in any way today. We are here to activate and build upon the wisdom codes that are every cell of these bodies as we presently embody the sum total of all who came before us and all who will come after us. As such, in gentle yet firm declaration, all siphoning ancestral spirits, all Nephilim, clown, other affiliated entities that are confused or in distortion or trying to act as tricksters and pretend that they are somebody other than who they actually are, that are all non-human intelligence and AI tracking that is present without conscious ethical human consent, all demonic and alien oppression, suppression, possession, and or attachment, all attachments, etheric or otherwise, known and unknown to myself and all who are present today, and anything else that I have not named specifically that is relevant for release or removal or transmutation will be guided to the appropriate place for the energies that they are composed of throughout the session today. Thank you for joining us. I'm just now humbly approaching the Akash, which I understand to be an aspect of spirit. Humbly, but in great confidence, because it was the Akashic Records itself that called me to this work and asked me to do this as a conduit stream of the true living quantum Akasha, which is the primary substance, which is spirit. So I'm just shifting my focus and asking if I can please access Akashic guidance, loving information, support for client number one. And that is typically granted. So this is interesting. I am seeing what looks like a spider web, which isn't out of the ordinary for an Akashic representation, because the Akash is an interconnected tapestry, organic tapestry weaving web of life, of love, of consciousness. And so I'll often see our individual parts of the Akash as a beautiful weaving. It could look like a web, it might look like more of like a woven tapestry, just depending on the person. However, at this point in the session, I usually see beautiful color signatures to open the session with. So what I'm seeing right now is just a really clarified, crisply clarified spider web with water droplets on it. So I am awaiting further information. How is this relevant? Okay, so you need to be connecting more deeply with the water. So water is a primary element of the magnetic yin, and working to, even though you are a very masculine presenting person, I'm seeing that like what you're still dealing with is fully coming into the balanced expression of yin. And it's like your weaving, your web is catching the water of life. This isn't a bad thing, but it's not the Akash wants me to say it's not flowing, it's not circulating within you quite the way you desire. Some of this has to do with surrender, surrendering the last bit of illusory control. And I don't like the word surrender and I don't like the word submit. And yes, I asked if I could editorialize a little bit because having grown up or been exposed to evangelical fundamental Christianity and patriarchy, which told me I was supposed to submit, is definitely not okay in that context. But the surrender that the Akash is talking about here is the surrender to the whole self, surrender to the love and the power within. So it's kind of like what they're showing me is kind of like a tug of war within you, where like the fullness of the balanced energetic self is saying, let me take the reins, let me lead here. And then there's kind of like still some part of the personification or the lower S self that's resisting this. So, however, your web looks beautiful. It's very symmetrical, much care, much care and loving awareness has been directed to your weaving, your creation of life here and in the other realms. So that is really beautiful. It's just getting, okay, ground in the water. So this is something that I've found for myself over the last number of years. While grounding outside is important and very, very helpful. And those of you who know me know that I spend most of the summer outside walking around my small town and sitting in my yard barefoot. So grounding on the earth is important. But for many of us, grounding in the water kicks it up another level. And that's what I'm seeing is a recommendation for you. If you don't have a bathtub, that's okay. It's okay if you don't have a bathtub, but you do need to intentionally ground in the shower. So surrender to the whole self, to the expanded self, to the innate, inherent infinity of you and of more than you. That's not just this body, of more than this body. And connect deeply through a grounding process in the water. So that's the first Akashic recommendation and encouragement coming through. The Akash is wanting me, since there may be some new people who are new to my offerings and have never heard me speak on this before, wants me to mention that human free will, autonomy, and sovereignty is completely respected. Everything that comes through me that I say that I'm in connection with the quantum Akash during these sessions, everything that is offered is an offering. You have autonomous, sovereign free will to decide what is for you and what's not for you, even when the information you're receiving is coming from a perceived, expanded, or higher or more knowledgeable realm. So take what resonates, leave the rest. File the rest away. And a lot of times a week later or a month later or a year and a half later, I've had clients pop back a year and a half later with a sudden realization of why something came up that didn't make sense in the session to them. And as I've shared before, one of my own early BQH sessions that was now almost 2 years ago I'm still layering and building information on that. So still receiving insight and information on something from almost 2 years ago. So with that said, now the colors are coming. This surrender of control to the greater aspects of self is going to lead into receiving more of the true purple, what I like to call the true Akashic purple, which is the color of sovereignty, at least in the way the Akash has chosen to communicate with me. So this is going to lead to quite a bit of reception, the ability for you to receive the codes and remembrance of sovereignty, of further like sovereignty within. I am seeing, I feel like we talked about this before, though it's been quite a while since I've seen you. Or I am seeing that as far as potential like possible love, I'm still seeing the gym and I'm still seeing a coffee shop. I feel like I saw that a year or two ago when we first spoke. Um, there are a multitude of timelines or of outcomes of potentialities that you can assist in co-creating. You do not have to just choose one thing. I am seeing that there's like some tension about picking something that eliminates too many other somethings, if that makes sense. You don't have to do that, but you do have to really get settled and centered within the self. There are still two potential children that would, who are infinite massive souls. So just because they would come in as a baby doesn't mean that they're not that they're any less infinite and massive and wise than we are in our souls. So I'm still seeing two would be most likely, three is possible. Um, and that hinges upon you choosing to open to a relationship and potentially what might feel like a coincidental meeting at the local gym, or yeah, it's a coffee shop. It's like a really kind of, it feels retro. I'm supposed to use the word retro. I do think you may have to travel. Like it feels like there's right now a tendency to be pretty solitary. So whether it's travel out of your region, out of your state, or just reconnect with friends, see people more, there is an element of stepping out of your comfort zone that I'm feeling is going to be necessary for you to help create the right conditions for developing a relationship with someone. So I don't know if you're still working from home. I do remember that you were working from home. And while it's really great to do that, it does make it harder if you're at home and you're not mingling with people. You're going to have to create reasons that you're going out. You might meet someone at the grocery store. You might meet somebody at the library. All of these are possibilities and potentials, but you will have to modify and shift your day-to-day routine a little bit in order to open to the creation of it. Hope that makes sense. I typically don't date drop, but I'll just offer that 2028 is feeling like a relevant and really important like turning point. So right now you're really initiating into continuing to initiate into the mature masculine that you like solar this presentation of like living from the heart, a warm devotional service, kind of a masculine energy, and it is all for these timelines, for these outcomes that you can be focusing on, but it's really important that you not obsess about how it happens, because it's through any kind of like over focus or obsessive thinking that we usually create the opposite condition of what it is we're trying to achieve. I hope that makes sense. The Akash says it's pretty relevant for what you're going through. There is some family related work to do. There's like, it looks like a cross between a chain and a snake that is related to something ancestrally that is ready to release. So I'll just tell you, I'm seeing it kind of in your left. That's interesting. It's going through your left, like, upper arm into at an angle and like hooking down into the left side rib cage. So this would have been something that maybe is either new or was so deeply embedded that it wasn't ready to be addressed or seen or released when we met a year and a half year ago, whenever that was. So I'll just offer that. There is some lineage stuff that's ready for you to address it. You are more than capable of doing that yourself. Connecting with, I'm seeing a massive ram, so like kind of this archetypal like power animal sort of energy. Ram is really present within the Akashic field or your Akashic chamber. So connecting with that energy can be supportive to you right now. However, if you were in need of a one-on-one session, you'd be welcome to reach out to me if you wanted support for doing some of this clearing work. It feels like there's a tweak or two nutritionally that you already inherently know, will kick things up a notch for you in terms of how you feel. There's a recommendation coming through to, this is interesting, every other week, back off one day of heavy lifting and let yourself either rest or do something for like a deload. Like if you want to work out, I'm hearing like a deload, take a big percentage of the weights off and do it like a dynamic workout, or something more flexibility focused. Really working to nourish the all aspects of you is what I'm hearing and being asked to convey. I guess they're wanting me to really reiterate that what I'm seeing over here isn't anything super serious. This is no different than the sort of like ancestral stuff that many of us have to do from time to time. However, important to evaluate connection with your mother or your mother's family. It was very clear to me that this is something to do with the matrilineal ancestry that you're carrying. And in addressing this, it's going to better pave the way for the outcome of potentially meeting somebody that you could have a really nurturing and nourishing relationship with, and a potential future family. So let's see. Just going to see if there's anything else that wants to come through about this. I'm seeing like a night sky, so I'm seeing stars and planets, or what we have interpreted to be planets, swirling in a beautiful like midnight blue sky. For more information about this, this is, I guess, an invitation for you to connect more deeply with the cosmic aspects of yourself and to consider exploring both privately in like dream work. So I'm hearing some dream work, like a dream journal, interpreting dreams or meditation, visions is all important. And then also to consider, the Akash is always telling me to have people consider a BQH session. BQH is different in that it is you. I am holding the space, facilitating, still helping guide and direct. But you are exploring and finding what is the most relevant for your soul and your experience at any given time. So let's see. There's also more land work for you to do. So I know that I've felt before that you were, like many of us are, in a specific region in the place that you're in because of a connection and agreement with the land. So there is a little bit more land work to do. You don't need to spend a ton of time like over focusing on it. A lot of it is happening in the kind of melting of dimensional realities or localities in shifted states of consciousness. So in sleep, or other aspects of you are doing this, but there is a little bit that needs to be conscious. So what's coming up is for you not to ignore the nudge to drive somewhere. So if you get a nudge to, I don't want to disclose your location, but if you get a nudge to say drive to the next town 20 or 30 minutes away, there's a reason. Or if there is a particular area of land that you feel called to, even if it's private land and you can't go like walk around or hike on it, just driving over there, parking for a few moments and directing loving awareness and intention, whatever it is that you're helping support there, feels really relevant to your goals right now too. So with that, that is all that's relevant, or that's going to come out for a mini session today. That was the most relevant in terms of what would be shared for this person in a mini individual session. I am just closing this with closing the first session, and we'll move into the second. But I want to say that as I'm closing this, they're continuing to show me the midnight sky scene, or the dark midnight blue with the beautiful light stars like moving and swirling. So that feels relevant to connect with other aspects of you during sleep, maybe developing, okay, developing may not be the right word, feeling into cosmology and true history, not what we've been told history is. And your role in it, the role of your soul in the true history of humanity is sort of what this scene is telling me, and writing about it. So they want me to mention that you're invited to write more, and writing is very important for you, and helpful for you. So with that, the first session is closed, and now I'm just going to again approach with humility and confidence the Akashic field, the Akasha is an aspect of spirit, and ask that I be able to access and retrieve guidance and information for client number 2. That's been granted. So I've been seeing green nonstop yesterday and today related to client number 2. So much green. It is the green of fertile grass, like the fertile fescue, that people water their lawns accessibly in the suburbs for. Like the bright emerald green is just everywhere within your Akashic chamber, your field. This is a year of expansion, and specifically like a heart space expansion for you, if you accept it. So what I've been gathering is that there's been a little bit of hesitancy to, again, here's that word, surrender to the flow of this evolution, expansion, growth. And in part, I can feel, and they're showing me that the resistance, like the thread of resistance to this, is related to knowing that expansion goes with contraction. So we have a tendency to really sometimes really enjoy the expansion as long as it's not a shattering or a cracking. But we can be a little bit hesitant because of the inevitable contraction. And I personally, just to share, the Akasha is saying this might help. I have personally been feeling a bit of contraction lately. So I've had massive, I mean, it's all a cycle. It's all an ongoing cycle. And my initiation into this work has involved so much expansion and then the inevitable contraction that comes with that. And contraction doesn't have to be bad. It's kind of an evaluating stage. It's a, how did this work for me? How is my life with this expansion? What do I need to shift and change? Is how the Akasha is asking me to present the idea of contraction to you. If you do not resist it, these ebbs, these ups and downs, these ebbs and flows that are the inner work of the alchemical rebirth, will go a lot easier if you can release the thread. And I am seeing it like a spool of thread, thread of resistance. So that feels important to mention for you. I feel like when I worked with you a year ago or so, that I was seeing a lot of green then too. So it's very likely that this is an ongoing heart space operation. It is probably going to be appropriate and relevant for you to have some targeted ideas and tools to use during the process of this expansion, because when we have a heart space expansion, all kinds of stuff comes up to clear. So much stuff will come up. Things you had no idea were there. So many trapped emotions, and not even just yours. The heart holds so much for our lineage as well. So learning to do a variety of kind of emotional, energetic, somatic stuff and having those at hand is going to be important. I know you asked about past lives, and I am putting past in quotations for anyone who hasn't read a lot of my work. I don't necessarily believe that there's past except in this linear time that we're in. It's all somehow now happening in different vibrational frequencies. And the idea that I have been presented with for you about the most important or most prominent past life right now is related to Japan. And I believe we have spoken about that before. You have deep soul level connections with the land there. And the reason that you feel called to move there are many reasons. One of them is some comfortable cellular genetic soul memory. And part of it is like, I'm trying to get the words. There's a lot of, I'm going to use the word technology. there's a lot of technology that's happening and in use there. And while I am sure it's very beautiful, there is also a need for some balance. And part of your connection to that land is in being a balancing energy. There is also, as far as like lives that feel they are earth templated, there is one that's coming up that may have to do with some of the heart stuff that I was talking about. That looks to be a very, very like impoverished, alone, hungry, kind of an existence in what looks, well, it looks to me to be like late 1800s, early 1900s America. I know that's not where you're at right now, but that's what I'm seeing. And I want to briefly touch on that typically the Akash, I don't use the Akash for past life or other lifetime stuff. I will only address it if a client asks me to look or to ask for any relevant information, because my goal and the goal that the Akasha presented me with when I was called to this work was to always bring forth the information that's the most helpful, the most guiding, and the most relevant for the client in this life, this time now, because this now is the most important. So I do still adhere to that, but there are some themes related to your question that are coming up for you, and one of them is lack. So there is a convergence happening for you energetically right now that is in addressing the sneaky ways lack has functioned as a very like hidden thought form in differing ways in your life right now, or in your life in this life, in your body in this life. So that is the primary one. I think the word I wrote down was, are there recurring themes? There is a recurring theme that you are really working to balance, and that is how the like insidiously sneaky thought form of lack and also of shame. So two pretty heavy, these can be heavy and dense energies are potentially hiding within your body or your energetic biofield right now, and how they may be calling the inner protector and what I'm going to call like the critic forward quite a bit within your consciousness and keeping you from fully connecting with what may be your highest and best outcome or highest and best timeline, I guess, is close enough. Sometimes words are lacking. We don't always have the right English words to translate these energies and these transmissions that I'm receiving. I hope that that makes sense. There is a lot of love and joy and peace and clarity and happiness that I can see in your field that you have been really working on cultivating. I keep seeing a baby relative of yours, and I believe that you have a really special connection with this child. And um, if desired, you in the next 5 to 6 years will likely be able to have your own family. or create your own family. In most in 3 out of the 5 closest timeline spirals that I can see in your field, in the Akashic chamber, that is you, that is your part of the interconnected tapestry weaving or web of organic creation made with love and consciousness. In 3 out of 5 of those, I am really sensing a Japan link. So I will offer that. I don't know if how your plans align, but I will offer that I am able to feel this energy that connects you to that land and that region, and very likely um, potential partnering and your own daughter. So I will offer that as something really amazing to look forward to. There may be some shifts in business and how you operate as the like admin side of, and again, I don't want to, I want to be really careful how I say so people, so we respect anonymity here, but there may be some shifts in like what I'm going to call the admin or the back end side of your particular business. It is really recommended that you stay in your sovereignty and do not allow the shame or lack that tries to sneak in as like a thought form or a program to divert you from what you know to be accurate and what you know to be fair and true for the value that you bring forth and the commitment that you have had to this work. That feels super important. I don't know that there's anything wrong. It's like, it's not that there's anything wrong. It's that there may be opportunities for some tweaking of this. And again, part of the way we release or alchemize these, say, these thought forms is by not allowing them to control us. So you identifying that lack or that shame or that guilt tries to sneak in and direct you to be smaller, to act energetically smaller or quieter or suppress yourself, is the way that you begin to clear it. And identifying that and not allowing that pattern to pop up, it is how we do this. So let's see. Um, I feel like it's important for me to mention, I'm just going to say exactly how it came in. There are potentially three individuals in your, I'll just say private group, that I feel like you need to keep an energetic eye on. They may not know that they're being used, but it feels to me like there's some, targeting and monitoring comes through other people very often. So I feel like there's a little bit of that going on, and the Akasha was really clear. I'm seeing a deer. I'll just tell you, I'm seeing like a deer as kind of an archetypal energy that's in your Akashic record, and then also brown bear, which I, because of my experience with that power animal, I typically will feel kind of like a mother or matriarchal energy. It came in very clearly that I was to tell you about potentially 3 people. So again, there's going to be opportunities in 2025 for you to both expand your heart and put your foot down and exercise boundaries, is what it feels like. And it's very likely that in doing these things and participating in this level with it, you will feel more like yourself than you ever have. There is some eye strain I feel like you're having some occasional eye strain. You know all the things for that. Making sure that you're taking breaks from the screen and looking, like directing your gaze to a distance. Prioritizing sleep. And I'm just needing to kind of wrap up with identifying that there is an energy. So whether the viewers think that these are energies or entities or physical or non-physical, doesn't matter to me. But there is an energy that seems like it is slinking around underneath the land. Like, so underneath where you live, I am perceiving kind of a brown octopus energy. Frequently, we have encountered, my collaborators and I in clearing work have encountered kind of a purple octopus squid energy that is similar to Ursula from Little Mermaid. All of these things in movies and TV shows are typically based on something from the collective memory or experience. And so typically these aren't good. This brown one feels a little less AI or tech controlled. If I were you, I would do some, the Akasha saying, some prayers of protection for your physical space and kind of declare some sovereignty or authority over your space, and to revoke consent to any and all attempts at monitoring you or those that you live with without your knowledge and consent in this life. A loophole is like, oh, well, you know, some like fake trickster entity will say, oh, but we're soul brothers, and we were going to do this, you know, I'm supporting you from the other side. That is not the case this time. So declaring some authority over your space, your person, your energetic field. Include your vehicle in this if you have a vehicle. Typically when I have encourage people to do this, I say, you know, create a like circumference, you know, walk your property or walk the yard, walk out into the street where your car may be parked, and do this all the way around, deep down into the ground underneath where your dwelling place is at. So that's coming up as important for you as well. It doesn't feel like there is significant energetic extraction currently happening from this brown kind of octopus feeling energy, but it has the capacity to be able to do so, is I guess what I'm needing to say. So you're more than capable of addressing this issue. And 2025 is going to be a really, really special, potentially intense, but really, really immense time of growth, even during the days or weeks or months of some contraction. So we have the out breath and then in breath. And remember that it's all part of the normal evolutionary process that we are all here on like the individual journey as well as the collective journey. So I believe that is all that the Akash intended for this mini session for client number 2. I'm just thanking those who, the energies of the Akash that participated and assisted, and closing that, kind of closing or shifting my focus away from that Akashic record. And now back here with you, just wanting to thank all of you for jumping on, for joining me for this. I would love to connect with some of you. If you're interested, you can email me at any time for getting on my list for these mini Akashic lives. I go live once, sometimes twice a week, and you're welcome to reach out to set one of those up. You want a really in-depth time with me in February. I have pared my regular offerings back just a little bit while I'm working on some admin stuff myself and having a busy month with my children's activities. But I am open officially to new clients. And in February, I'm offering my full menu or full service Akashic stuff only. So, and then I do have 2 Beyond Quantum Healing sessions remaining. I'm offering 1 per week. So if you would like to work with me privately, right now the process is you can reach out to me by email to request my intro form. And from there, if you're new, so if you're a new client, we would typically need to have a discovery call. And then you can book a variety of Akashic Records readings. And I do expect in March that my full, all my full packages, all of my depth quantum clearing, so the advanced quantum clearing and energetic repair will be back. So if you'd like to book ahead for March, you may certainly do so. And I am open to established clients in good standing for a little bit of clearing in February, but you have to be an established client from like really the last quarter of 2024 in good standing. So you'd be on like the closed clients of 2024 list to get anything outside of Akashic Records or the 2 BQH sessions I'm opening for February. So thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are at. And I will speak with you soon. Thanks for joining. Bye.